So over the last month or so, I've had a few people that have reached out and asked, hey, can you make a video on talking about where you can actually find n8n customers? Do people actually pay for automations? Well, the answer is yes, I have n8n customers. And I wanted to go and talk about some of the different areas where you can find these people that are wanting to pay for AI automations. We're going to also compare and contrast some of the pros and cons behind each of these different areas, so that way you know exactly where to get started. Now, in my own personal opinion, we should start off with number one. I think this is the easiest one to get your feet wet, and this is going to be freelancing platforms. In particular, the two most popular ones out there, at least that I'm aware of, are Upwork and Freelancer. Personally, I like Upwork. I've used it quite a bit. I know some people have had negative experiences with Upwork, but that's where I've gotten some of the biggest customers that I still have today. Super easy to get started. Honestly, you could build out a profile and get this going probably within an hour or 2 hours, depending like how nice you want to build out your profile and how tailored you want it to be. The one thing it's going to take a little bit of time to get also built up is going to be your portfolio. If you're starting here in the beginning and you don't really have a social media profile, you need to make sure that your portfolio is really good. And maybe we'll talk about that here in another video as well. It can be pretty tough to get your first customer on these sites. It's not easy. A lot of people thinks, hey, I'm going to go on Upwork. I'm going to apply to 5 jobs. I think all 5 people are going to pay me. They're going to pay me $100 an hour. That's not true. It's going to be a grind here in the beginning. In fact, getting your first customer on the platform is going to be the hardest thing that you accomplish. It's easier to scale once you get customer number 1 than it is to get the first customer. Another thing to watch out for is 1 or 2 bad reviews can completely tank your profile. So you have to make sure when you get your first customer that it is a perfect experience, or as close to perfect as possible. You need to make sure that they have enjoyed working with you. You need to be really good with communication. You need to set expectations out and right in the beginning. There's a lot of nuances associated with it. Now, another kind of con with using a freelance platform is it is kind of pay to play on that side of things. You do get some free credits on Upwork, and I believe you probably get some free credits on Freelancer as well. But if you want to apply to a lot of jobs, you have to pay money into the platform. Back when I first started doing Upwork, and I've documented it all here on the channel, I was paying, I want to say $100 to $200 a month in just credits. And for a lot of people, that is a lot of money, but I looked at it as an investment. Like, hey, I'm going to get some great customers. I'm investing into the platform. And like I said, I still have had customers from Upwork that are with me today. So it's really awesome of a platform, but it does take a little bit of work to get started. In addition, you need to make sure that you're like perfect with your first customers. Otherwise, you're just going to possibly get either suspended on the platform, or you're not going to get more customers, because reviews matter quite a bit. And lastly, you're going to probably spend $100 plus before you get your next customer. Another way that is pretty popular to get customers is going to be through social media or your own website. You can think of this as like a YouTube channel, Twitter, X, LinkedIn. From having a YouTube channel, I do get people that reach out every single month and ask for n8n projects. Now, do I sign every single person that reaches out to a project? No, you have to qualify. Some people aren't in budget. Some projects I just generally don't want to take on. And this also includes people that reach out for data projects. But you know, when you do make a lot of videos and you have a lot of content on a particular subject matter, people are going to reach out, and it doesn't matter what platform that it particularly is. Now, I focus on YouTube. To be honest, I don't really do a lot on Twitter or X. I don't really have much engagement on that platform. LinkedIn, I get a few likes per post, and honestly, it's a lot of people for my full-time job. So I haven't really optimized yet for Twitter or LinkedIn, and these are kind of on projects I want to do in 2026. So as the YouTube channel scales up and I figure out more ways to grow this channel, maybe I'll also start putting a little bit more resources in these other ones. A website on that side of things, it takes a while as well. So you want to use something called SEO. And it takes months and months of work and articles to start ranking and getting clicks. So I really wouldn't recommend you do the website route right away. I'd probably recommend you do some sort of social media platform. Now, I didn't even put on here Instagram or TikTok. Those are probably some ways that you could use, especially with kind of those shorts or faster paced videos. But again, that's something I just really haven't explored. I like making longer, more in-depth videos than that. One thing I think is really underrated is in-person meetups. And this could be anything from a hobby to different types of events for types of businesses. So I'll give you a personal use case. One of my hobbies is collecting cards. You can see in the background, I have a few cards back over there. And actually, I got my full-time data science job from being in the card hobby. When I wanted to transition from data analytics to data science, I started reaching out to a lot of people in the space. And from there, I was able to network and find a job opportunity that I am still at today. So if you have a different hobby, I would just start talking to everyone like, hey, I'm interested in learning how to do automations. I want to build out an automation business. Do you know someone that needs help with their business? Because there's probably people out there that need some sort of help and are willing to take you on if you have something in common. Another type of hobby that I think you could do a pretty good job with it is endurance sports. So you can think of like a running club or types of cycling clubs. Personally, I run a lot. So when I'm in longer distance races, sometimes you're talking to someone for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So endurance sports, another way over there. You can also take a look at like a chamber of commerce. So often what a chamber of commerce does is it brings together different businesses and business owners, and they all come together and talk about their problems, talk about where things are going in the economy, and I'll just hang out together. So I'd recommend that if you're in the States, and there might be a chamber of commerce outside of the States, I don't know. But look at your chamber of commerce, because there's probably some events that you could join. And even outside of that, every other type of business industry probably has events. Think about it like real estate. There's events that are probably happening daily, if not weekly, in every major city. So those are just some examples for in-person meetups. I know n8n also does some meetups as well. I haven't attended an n8n meetup as of yet. I want to when one's a little bit closer, but you have that opportunity. Another way that you could go through and possibly find customers is through groups. So you can think of this as Facebook groups. There's business owners on Facebook that talk about what type of help that they need out there. There's Reddit subreddits. So you can think of like an entrepreneur Reddit or a SaaS or automation, n8n community forums, as well as the n8n Reddit. And there's even some school communities out there that you could join and potentially get customers from that route. Now, the thing is with these type of groups, you have to put in the reps. You have to build your own reputation in these groups. You can't just go in these groups and say, hey, hire me. I'm going to be the best person for your automations. You have to actually make real connections in these groups. And someone may give you an opportunity along the line when you've helped them when they've been stuck. Two things that I really haven't explored as of yet. On the startup route, there's a website called Product Hunt, as well as Indie Hackers. So maybe you want to reach out to people on the startup side of things. Personally, I don't really work too much with startups, but if you need to get your first customers, that could be a route to go. You could also work with some type of agency and a partnership agreement. So you could partner with like a marketing agency or web design agency, say, hey, I have these skills for automations. Maybe you want to offer this to your customers. You take a cut, and we both can get a little bit more money on that side of things. And you could also take a look at white label work. So let agencies resell essentially the work that you are doing. Another great opportunity to get n8n customers, although it does take a few jobs to get, is going to be through referrals. The goal is you're providing as much value as possible to a customer. And if they are happy with that experience, you can get additional customers. What I recommend is you give those customers X% and say, hey, if you get me another customer, I will give you 10, 20, 30%, depending on how big the job is, as a kickback. You can either use that for current services or you can get that in cash and get them a little bit incentivized. Also, sometimes when you're working on someone's business, they actually have a second business. Recently had that happen. So one of my biggest customers is in the fitness industry. They own another portion of a fitness app, and now I work with both companies. So overall, there are a ton of different opportunities out there to get started and get n8n customers. Personally, I would recommend that you start off with the freelancing websites because I feel like that's the lowest barrier to entry. After that, what I'd probably recommend is starting with some sort of in-person meetups because there's a lot of opportunity on that side of things. And these people probably aren't getting pitched automations and someone can put a name to a face, although it does take an investment of you to actually go to these events. And then if you're not an extrovert, it does take additional energy to go and introduce yourself to other people. I think forums of some capacity are really good, but it does take a while to build up credibility within these groups. I think there's a lot of other opportunities with both startups and agencies. I haven't really explored those routes, but you could do that. And if none of this works, another kind of Hail Mary thing is just ask your friend group. I personally don't have a super large friend group, but maybe you're watching this video and you do. So I'd go and ask people along that way. And then if you are in college, I would take a look and see if there's any type of business development resources out there for you. They can also probably help point you in the right direction. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you found value, make sure to subscribe to the channel and join our free school community. We're posting a lot about n8n as well as how you can land customers in that group, and would love to have you in there. It's 100% free, and we're going to build a great community. With that being said, I have a bunch of other n8n videos as well as freelancing videos here on the channel, and feel free to check those out.